because I was using because I actually modified a version of the Eden.sfc file, which is responsible for all the new worlds you create. I actually modified a world and then used that world to replace the Eden file, and so I think that it kind of messed up with the worlds or something. I actually put that up for download on a Creatures website because I thought it might be a good way for people to get started with the game without having to faff about installing all the live kit agents and stuff. So I'm probably going to have to take that down, I'm afraid, because it suffers from issues. I think it's because it's trying to search for a specific folder to read from, but it can't find it, and so it's having issues or something. But yeah, I'll just post a link to the new live stream in the Discord server, and then I'll get going. So yeah, I'm going to cut right to the chase. As you can see, Creatures 2 doesn't take place on the Shi'Ark or the Capilata or any kind of spaceship. It actually takes place on Albia, which is the home world that Nons actually come from. It's very big. It's very big. It's very beautiful as well, as you can see. This is actually my favourite game in the series, just for how the art. I just really love the art style. It's very naturalistic, and I don't know. I just really like it. I really like the first game's art style as well. It looks really nice, and it's really nice and warm, and it's just comforting to look at. It's a very friendly looking game, whereas the two final games, Creatures 3 and Docking Station, are kind of cold and kind of eerie and a bit morbid, to be honest. I much prefer this art style. So yeah, it takes place in Albia. The creature, like I said in the last attempt at track stream, the Creatures 3 starship's actually advertised as being bigger than the Creatures 2 world, which it might be, but it's kind of ripping you off a bit in some ways, because the actual places you want creatures to live are actually contained within their own rooms, and so they're quite smaller, and the actual starship, well, most of the places on the starship, like the bridge and the bridge area, are just cold areas, cold metallic areas that you don't really want your creatures living. But anyway, pardon me, let's get going. Status bar. Just bear with me a moment. So yeah, Creatures 2. This Creatures 2 is actually running on a virtual operating system of Windows XP, as you can clearly tell by the window borders and stuff. I believe it's called VMware Player or something. I did try running the game with VirtualBox as well, but I encountered issues with that. For starters, it wouldn't display properly on my monitor. I couldn't go up to my monitor's native resolution, and Creatures 2 just wouldn't run on the VirtualBox at all. But this version is so much better, and I highly recommend it instead of actually trying to run Creatures 2 through Windows 10, because even though it is playable, you have to lower your resolution to, I think it's 1366 by something, in order to stop the lag. And even when you can play it, a lot of the menu items don't appear properly, like the status bar at the bottom or the tooltips over the objects, because I believe it's the way it handles direct draw. I think it's to do with Windows 10 snuffing the support for it. Like, it doesn't work very efficiently with Windows 10, but on this it runs as smooth as I remember it doing back in the day when I used to play it. Not on my first computer though, because that was Windows Millennium, and nobody wants to talk about Windows Millennium because of how terrible it was. So yeah, let's get going. I'm not going to hatch any Norns from the hatchery right now, because as far as I know, well, actually I'm going to just have a little dive in and have a look. As far as I know, these might not be canny Norns, which are the Norns I'm actually looking for. Now, canny Norns are Norns, third-party Norns that have had the genomes edited to make them more suited for survival, and they're a lot more intelligent than the Norns that actually come with the game. The Norns that come with the game are very flawed, as you might have caught me saying in the last time I tried to stream. They have a nasty habit of losing their ability to eat or sleep around the time they become teenagers, which means that they are not particularly good Norns to actually keep, because like I said, the brain essentially turns to mush. I don't think we've got any canny Norns in here. I'm not sure, because they're not really labelled that clearly. So I think we'll just import our Norns for now. The first Norn I'm going to import is called, I think she's called Lisa or something, but I'm not entirely sure. She was actually from a previous world. The previous world... Lily, actually. Yeah, the previous world she was in had a few issues. It was just, for some reason, it was just crashing. I think it was because I installed a dodgy genome and to overwrite the Etienne or the Grendel genomes. And I think the game mucked up or something, and it just kept crashing whenever an Etienne hatched from an egg, so I had to quickly export her out. I'll see how old she is. Oh, she's still a child. She's not yet adolescent. Norns can actually breed once they reach adolescence in this game. Whereas in Creatures 3 and Docking Station, it's actually different. They can only breed once they reach the youth stage, which is after adolescent. I don't know why they did that. I had my own theory I had my own theory that they did that was to try and prevent teenage pregnancy or something, but I just think it's silly. So yeah, she's looking kind of tired at the moment. She's mostly bored. Yeah, she probably wants to play with something. I'll see if she wants to play with this. Yeah, the Norns in this game, I find they get bored a lot more than the ones in Creatures 3 and Docking Station. And the even Norns that are edited, like Lily, who have got the canny Norn genome, have quite a few sleeping issues. To be honest, I think it's just the Norns' brains are more hyperactive, and so they find it a bit more difficult to actually lay down and sleep. We've actually got some... we've actually got quite a lot of downloads we can add. The previous world I had open had all the official Creatures Life Kit objects installed. I'm sorry about those pop-ups. I can't do anything about them. I'm not even logged in. I've not even got Facebook open at the moment in any windows, but for some reason it still decides to show me the notifications. It's really annoying. But anyway, yeah. On the last attempt at live stream, I did have a world with all the things installed, but obviously I couldn't use it because it kept giving me error messages. It can be a bit of a pain having to install them all. I'm sorry about that. Right, I've disabled those now, so hopefully we won't see any again. I don't find them useful anyway, to be honest. Anyway, so we've got quite a few items from the life kit. We've got Wasp's Nest, we've got loads of stuff. I've got quite a few things that conflict with each other a bit as well, so I'll have to be careful what I install. I was going to say then, oh yeah, Creatures 2 was actually my first game in Creatures series that I played, but I never actually downloaded any of the life kits back then. I did actually get a few downloads, official downloads with the game. They were just like the pufferfish and stuff, just little things. They weren't actually the proper life kits. I don't know why I never downloaded them actually. I think it's because we were on a mode. I think we had a DSL internet connection back then. It was awful, so it took quite a while to actually download anything. and I probably just never got around to doing it. So I got quite a lot of stuff installed. I'm not going to bother making the Grendels or Etiens breedable because I'm not going to really. They're not going to be my main focus on this series. If I do decide to actually make more episodes, because as I've said, Creatures 2 can be quite unstable and it does have a habit of crashing and stuff. It's not fun at all. So it's wise to make regular backups of your Norns and your worlds and stuff. I suppose, even though it's a bit of a nuisance having to keep installing this, it's much better than the Creator in Creatures docking station where you have to scroll down and press buttons and stuff. It's very tedious. Yeah. Like I said, this has actually got kits in it. These are pretty much what kits are. They just function as like ways of monitoring Norns and stuff. And for some absolutely stupid reason, they decided to get rid of them in Creatures 3. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm sorry. One thing that I really dislike about Creatures 3 are the absolutely stupid ways of scrolling through stuff. Like there's a machine you can actually use to inject your Norns and stuff with chemicals and stuff. But in order to actually get to the chemicals, you actually have to literally press a button to scroll through them all, and it takes absolutely forever, and it's absolutely horrendous. It's terrible. Whereas in this, it's just like a standard window thing. I don't know why they got rid of it at all. It's probably the stupidest decision ever. Yeah, there's a lot of things here. I don't even know if you have to install all of these. Oh, here are some frogs. Now these are a bit special, because once they hatch out, they turn into tadpoles and eventually they turn into frogs. And if one of your Norns actually kisses one of the frogs, the frog will actually turn into a frog Norn, which is pretty cool. But the only downside is that frog Norns can't actually stray too far away from the pool, as if they do, they transform back into a frog and they die. You can breed regular Norns with frog Norns, and the babies can survive out of the water, but it's a bit of a shame really that you can't keep regular frog Norns out of the water. And it is a bit of another thing that's a bit annoying as well, is because once there's one frog Norn, then that Norn will be wanting to keep kissing the other frogs, which means the pool just be absolutely crammed full of frog Norns, and it's really annoying when you try to keep track of one Norn family. You've got frog Norns constantly appearing in the pool. We've got this big helicopter here, which is from one of the life kits. I'm not really a big fan of it, because it's absolutely massive and it takes up most of the room in the desert, and Norns barely ever use it. I'm not too big on these hummingbirds either, because a Norn doesn't even have to get that near to them before they start swarming after them, and it's a bit annoying, to be honest. Now, I'm sorry if I'm boring people with this. It's actually quite late where I am at the moment, so I apologise if I'm feeling a bit tired. Yeah, once I've done all this, I'm going to start adding some Norns. Well, not Norns, maybe one or two, because I want them to breed and stuff. So yeah, I think I just add these. Oh, let's add these as well, because to be perfectly honest, even if you've got the most intelligent Norn breed available, the game's still flawed when it comes to the When it comes to like edges of the world and stuff, like Norns will still fall off regardless of how intelligent they are, and that's why I just installed that, because it's not really worth the risk of Norns dying and stuff, because they fall into the ocean, and even though you can get a pufferfish that helps them, it can't save more than one Norn at a time, I don't think. So usually they end up dying, and sometimes they can't always reach them, because I've had Norns die and the pufferfish has been stuck somewhere and it can't reach the Norn. So this is a plateau project. It basically adds loads of like platforms and stuff to certain areas of the world, so it gives the Norns a bit more accessibility. We've got playing on TV, but I'm not going to use that. It's not really appropriate, to be honest. I don't know why anyone made it, to be fair. I don't know what compelled to make someone to make that, but I'm not going to be using it. So like I said on the last attempt at streaming, we've got this. This is really useful. It's a pump repositioner. It's by Gimme Cat, and basically it moves the pump away from this invisible wall here, so when Norns go to have a drink, they won't end up bumping their heads on it and associating pain with getting a drink. I'm tempted to. I'm just going to click quick power, because it's not really. No, hang on. Because it'll be a challenge getting her to activate all the power-ups around the world. So let's see what's wrong with her. She seems a bit angry, to be honest. Yeah, this is an update for the balls in the game. They can actually bounce off Norns and stuff. It's hilarious. And she wants to hit it for some reason. Yeah, if you've been following my other series, you'll have seen that we had another aggressive Norn, except she was constantly aggressive, called Miss Pink, and she just reminded me of them when she was angry for no reason. The Norns in this game are actually fairly placid. They're certainly not as aggressive as the ones in Creatures 3. I've never had any serial killer Norns or anything. Even the Grendels in this game are pretty chilled out too. They just seem... I don't know, they don't even seem to be that bothered by Norns. They just like to kiss them for some reason. So yeah. Right, we should add another Norn now. Let me see if... So we've got these ones. What shall I add? I'll add one of these. These are called... I think they're called Pixie Norns. Oh no, this isn't the one I wanted to add. These are called Emerald Norns, just to say that. These green ones are called Emerald Norns. What's happened to it? I hope it's not crashed. It always does this. Oh, shut up. So because it tried to open the breeders kit while I was exporting that Norn. Anyway, let's import another. No, these are called Pixie Norns, I'm sure they are. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like on Creatures 3 Docking Station, you got to teach your Norns how to talk, except in this game it's not as easy. There's no instant vocab or anything. There is the Stone of Ancient Knowledge, but it's quite far away from where you actually start the game. I don't think I've actually injected it, to be honest, but I don't really see the point in it. I'm probably gonna get another Norn as well, maybe another female, but I'll be downloading her from the internet, because the Norns that you actually start with, they can be a bit even though the genetics are completely random, they can be a bit boring. And to be honest, these are actually not even from the hatchery. These are actually downloaded from these are actually been exported to the internet, and so they're not as unique as otherwise they would be if they were hatchery Norns. But anyway, so they seem to be getting on well. I think the Gnorns in this game are some of the cutest in the series, next to the Creatures 1 Gnorns. Yeah, these little guys here are called doozers, and since I installed that that edible critter patch or whatever, the Gnorns seem to like eating them, which is pretty hilarious. And there's another thing I like to do with them as well. I'll see if it'll let me, because we've got infinite scroll on at the moment, which means we can't really move that far around the world. But what I like to do is this. Just a minute. Take this out. Yeah, I like to do this. There's an even funnier one as well, because you can actually get these doozers that like they can't live on land, but they can only live in the sea. So if you put them on land, they have that exact same reaction. So it's just funny to like put them down and just watch them just hop around the air through the sky screaming. It's hilarious. It's funny as well when it happens, because you could just be here raising your arms and one just suddenly flies past screaming. It's hilarious. No, I think I'll let it out now. I'm feeling a bit bad for it, to be honest. There we go. I was wondering where he'd gone then, but he's behind the computer. Yeah. One thing I've certainly noticed with this game, and not so much with Docking Station, is time seems to go a lot slower in this one. And the game just feels a lot slower paced and a bit more relaxed. She's finally asleep. Probably wake up in a minute. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know if this is really a good idea, streaming this late on, because at the moment I can only see one person who's actually watching it. But it doesn't really matter. It's because I've this week I actually started my second semester of university, and I wasn't too sure what the days would be like work-wise. But I suppose, because I'm not in all day on Wednesday, I suppose I could maybe do the live stream then instead of on Thursday at a ridiculous time at night. Oh, stop kicking her. It was funny that when she did that face. Oh, oi! Stop slapping each other. Oh, I love it when they do that face. But oi! Stop kicking her. Oh God! Oh, face. Yeah, she's not happy at all. Oi! Stop kicking each other. Oh, this isn't going very well, is it? Who needs reality television when you've got this? Right, she's going to have to move away from him. Go on, you have to stop it. Move. Right, I'm going to have to pick her up or something. She's not moving, and he keeps slapping her. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'll move him instead. Put him over there. I don't understand why he was slapping her and kicking her. Yeah, the worst thing is when they get stuck in like a corner or something, which means when the Gnorn tries to turn around, it might end up walking into the wall, or if it gets kicked, it might actually get sent flying into the wall, which is also painful. I believe on one of my other live streams of Creatures Exodus, I actually said it's a bit like watching a soap opera, and it's still true with this game, especially with the kicking and the slapping. Oh, what's gone on? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is like a... That's an unofficial computer that teaches them more than just verbs. That face. I love it when they like put their hand up to the face and then run away. They always do it when they're near the ocean, near the end of a ledge. Sometimes it works. Sometimes when they do it, they run away, but sometimes it doesn't work very well, and they end up running straight off the edge. Things seem to have calmed down a bit now, thankfully. Oh, I've still not given him a name. What should I call him? She's called Lily, I think. Yeah, Lily. Tommy, maybe. Another thing is, I apologise if everyone can see the taskbar at the bottom. I suppose it's not really that much of a problem, but it is a bit of annoyance for me because I prefer to just show the whole window, but I could hide it, it's just that I wouldn't have access to the applets because they actually go down into the taskbar because they're separate windows. So, yeah. Oh, it's night time now, apparently. It doesn't actually change the sky or anything on the time of day. I bet it's to do with the way the planet is. When I was looking up the history behind the game and stuff and the world. Oh no, she's angry again. She's always angry, this Norn. Yeah, one of these updates I've got installed. Whenever Norns perform certain actions like eating stuff, they'll say a random phrase. It's pretty hilarious, like you just saw then. I think I need to install this. Say need no more. What this does, it stops Norns from moaning about stuff. Like if they're hungry, they won't stop and say I'm hungry or whatever. They'll actually go and do something about it rather than just moaning to the player. Which is very useful in Creatures too, because Norns pretty much spend most of the time complaining about their needs. It's a bit like in Sims 2 actually, when Sims like just moan about like being stuck somewhere or something, and they don't try and do anything about it. They just stop and complain. Oh yeah, one thing you'll just have noticed is these cacti up here started to seed, which they always do during the night time. That's one thing I actually miss in Creatures 3, is there isn't really any day or night cycle, even though there actually is one built into the game, but it's not very apparent. Like certain things take place, like certain things aren't timed to take part at certain stages of the day, whereas in this they are, which is pretty amazing. It makes the world seem a lot more alive. We've also got seasons as well, which, although they're present in Creatures Exodus, they're not elaborated on very much. Whereas in this, you actually can get stuff like falling snow, and like certain plants will die off and stuff during the winter, and during the summertime you'll get flocks of butterflies and stuff pollinating flowers. It's really interesting to see how much effort they put into making the world seem so alive. I mean, Creatures 3 would have worked if they'd maybe made things a bit more subtle and stuff, just like plants flowering at certain times of the day. And another thing as well with Creatures 3 is the non-terrarium feels really crowded, even though it's a relatively large area, but it always feels really crowded to me, like there's too many animals and insects and stuff flying about, and they usually end up going extinct, most of them. So there's not really doing much. Apparently, according to the status bar, she's crowded. Oh, stop kicking her. I should have called him Jackie Chan, he kicks so much. Yes. Oh, I don't know how that happened. I'll just put it back there. Oh, not again. I think one of the Norns is clicking on this and making it go into my hand, which it shouldn't be. To be honest, there's not really much point in teaching Norns how to talk unless you actually want to be able to command them and stuff. Like, you can tell, like if I say hand to Lily at the moment, she'll come towards the hand. Oops, sorry about that. The silly keyboard, right. So yeah, if they know the word for hand and know what the hand is, then they'll actually come towards it. It's a good way, it's a really good way of leading them around the world, I've found. Because they'll just come towards you immediately. It's really, really cute. It's like a dog coming towards its owner. But yeah, when I used to play the game when I was younger, I always used to take Norns on like adventures around the world. Just so I'd be able to explore. Like once you Norns or something have entered a certain part of the world, you actually unlock it on the map here. In a way, it's a bit like Terraria, which is also a game you can explore. In fact, Terraria follows a similar design in regards to it being 2D. It's like a side scroller. So we've got an ocean there, and underneath the ocean we got the Grendel hatchery. It's not a very good location, to be perfectly honest, because it's right next to a radioactive volcano, and Grendels usually end up falling down off the ledge there and hurting themselves, and then they just get left inside the volcano and they end up getting sick with radiation poisoning. I did install though like a bridge thing that bridges the gap, so they usually end up crossing over and going onto the other part, which leads up to like a, I don't know, like a biosphere thing, but it's not got much food in it though. So we've got the ocean here, the Eastern Ocean, which is the biggest. It's actually a good place for raising Mernorns. Mernorns are well, they're pretty much just Norns, but they can live underwater. They're a bit like mermaids. They've got like a fish tail. And the only downside to Mernorns though is they can't actually leave the water, and if they do they end up dying, which I've sadly experienced quite a few times. Pretty much all of them accidental really, because you've got this silly spring here in the middle of the ocean, and sometimes they like to press it and they end up flying out of the ocean onto the land, and it's a bit of it's a pain having to get them back in the water then, because back then when I used to play Creatures 2 I didn't have access to anything, pick the Norns up or anything like that, so I didn't even know how to revive Norns that had gone unconscious, so they usually ended up just dying. But yeah, it's a bit empty to be honest in my opinion. They could have at least added a couple more fish, maybe even, I don't know, tropical fish that schooled, like schools of fish and stuff, rather than just the zander fish and the goldfish, which pretty much just swim about doing nothing. We've got a jellyfish though up there. That doesn't do much. I don't even think Norns can interact with it. I've certainly never seen them do it because it's too far up. But it's always fascinated me, that jellyfish, because it's just like it does its own thing, just going across and just not really doing much. It's interesting. I can remember playing creatures when I was younger, and I really wanted to get my Norns over to the ocean area just so I could look at the sea, and all I could see was the jellyfish from this tiny area, because obviously my computer monitor back then was smaller and the resolution wasn't as big as this. So yeah, the Norns are pretty much happy. I've actually managed to run creatures 2 across 2 monitors, because I've actually got 2 monitors plugged into my computer, and it's actually pretty interesting. It's just a shame the second monitor isn't up on isn't at the same level as the main one, because then it'd be pretty much seamless, but it's not. But it'd be pretty cool if someone actually got a big massive wall of monitors, or a big, like, I don't know, like a circular arrangement of monitors, and just spanned creatures 2 across all the monitors, because it'd be like looking at a virtual terrarium or a virtual fish tank, which I think Creatures 2 is quite similar to, because they're both from the side on, and like a real life fish tank, it does get a bit boring sometimes. So she's angry. I don't know why she's angry. I think it might be because she's crowded. So I think I'll send her down here for now to the cellar. Maybe actually she could activate that science caplet. Stop walking into the wall. Oh no, she's at. Oh. Yeah, I'll get her to activate the science kit. That allows you to actually monitor the biochemistry and Norns and stuff, and you can inject stuff into them, but there's an advanced science kit thing as well, and that allows you to monitor them in a bit more depth, and it also allows you to see their genetics as well and have a look at those. Does she even know what an implement is? Oh yes, she does. But she'll probably start walking into the wall like they always do. Go on, push it. No, she's more interested in trying to eat it. Go on, push it. No, I don't think she's going to push it. Go on, push it. Yeah, they have this thing, Norns, in this game. They don't like to listen to you at all. They just rather walk into walls and avoid eating and never go to sleep. Go on, push it. I have to push her along. I think she's... Well, she's not frozen. I've had Norns in this game freeze up. Oh, she's pushed it. I could have done with a drink, really. My throat's getting a bit dry. But yeah, yeah, like I was saying, no, I completely forgot what I was going to say then. So yeah, she's just there. I don't know what she's doing. I think she's trying to play with the hummingbirds, which aren't too impressed seeing her. I'll probably get rid of the hummingbirds, to be honest. All they do is just flock about, chasing after Norns. She's not even that near to the... Oh yeah, the nests are on the tree area, but for some reason they see it was a threat from up here. Oh yeah, as I was saying, I've actually had a few Norns frozen in the game. Like they just sit on the ground and they don't move no matter what you try and do to them, or they just stand, and it's really annoying. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a glitch with the game or anything, but I'm starting to think now she might have it, where they get frozen. She's not moving. I'll try picking her up and... Sorry, I'm tired. I'll try moving her to the incubator area. Yeah, she's not moving. Yeah, she's not moving. I don't know what it is. It's every so often you get Norns that just stand around and they don't move at all. I might try exporting her and importing her again. Oh yeah, there's also a glitch for this game as well. That has never been fixed. If you try and export a pregnant Norn and import it again, it won't be able to import. For some reason, it'll say that it contained an unexpected object, and the game will either crash or the Norn just won't appear. It's a shame because it'd be a good bit to send pregnant Norns over to people, but obviously it's not possible for some reason. Even though it's possible in Creatures 3 and Docking Station, I think it might be possible in the first game actually, but it's not in this one. So yeah, we got the science kit activated, so you can give them a physical and stuff, see how the organs are doing, monitor the temperature. She seems pretty okay. As long as these are all green and stuff and relatively full, that should be fine. But in a more sick individual, they'll usually be quite low, or if the organ's failing, and it'll start flashing red, and eventually it'll die, which is quite common with Grendels because they spend a lot of time in the volcano. The radiation can destroy the bone marrow, and eventually they just end up with the bones just with a cross on it because the bone marrow's been destroyed. Yeah, we've got the DNA, but digital DNA section, but obviously can't read this yet because we haven't got the advanced science kit. Biochem just lets you monitor chemicals and stuff, so you can monitor like learning and stuff and see the process of what chemicals are released when Norns are punished or rewarded. I'll actually show a quick demonstration. It might actually happen on its own, but yeah, say a tickler, which is the equivalent of rewarding a Norn. The reward chemical will increase slightly. Now the problem with the original Norn breed that came with the game, the original genetics, was that whenever Norns would be tickled or receive any kind of reinforcement, the chemical would take too long to decay, and so a Norn would be essentially rewarding itself for doing every single thing, and so the brain would get confused, which is why they had so much difficulty later on in their lives eating and drinking properly. Eating and sleeping. So I'll just go off this now. We've got a syringe as well, where you can inject any 4 of these. You've also got advanced mode, but obviously we've not unlocked that yet. Sleepiness basically increases your Norn's sleepiness, makes it want to go to sleep. Liquid food can be like a nutrient thing for Norn. Like if you've got a Norn that's weak, you can give it liquid food to boost its strength up a bit. Metabolism transplant, which is basically, I think it's pretty much the function of giving a Norn some energy, because you've got oxygen, you've pretty much got energy, air, glycogen, glucose. So that's also good, and liquid food is mostly for the nutritional side of things. But it's not a good idea to keep feeding a Norn liquid food because they can become dependent on it and not bother to eat themselves. And we've got defibrillant. This last one, yeah. This can be used to revive Norns that have become unconscious. It's very useful to pretty much anyone playing the game, and I wish I'd known about it when I was younger, because I had a lot of Norns become unconscious on me, and obviously I wasn't able to revive them because I didn't know how. But what this pretty much does is just gives Norns some ATAP, which starts their starts the body up again, and some energy and some other stuff as well. Just to kickstart the body. It might not. It's not good. It won't work in all cases. Some Norns that are born that way, like they come out of the hatchery, they come out of an egg and they die. No, they don't die. They fall unconscious a few moments after. They've usually got some underlying genetic issue, and it's probably not possible. You probably can't save a Norn like that, and you're probably just better off letting nature take its course. Because even if you do inject the Norn with that, it'll probably fall unconscious again after a while. Although I have had a few miracle cases where Norns have fallen unconscious and they have kept doing it, and eventually, as I've persevered, they've eventually been able to live. Oh, I hate this notification system. I might wrap this up in a few moments because I'm getting a bit tired, to be honest, and it has gone on for around an hour now. Just over an hour, I'd say just under an hour, and not much is really happening, to be honest. He's gone really angry now. I think they need to take a few anger management courses. I just hope he doesn't start kicking her and slapping her again. Yeah. To be perfectly honest, it's a shame. It's a shame because I wish Shadowplay, which I do use to record everything, I wish it allowed you to specify a certain area of the screen, because it does annoy me a bit having to record the whole entire screen. But I suppose it's better than nothing. I'm glad I'm even able to run the game at all. So yeah, I'm probably going to put it to an end now. It's been quite fun, even though not a lot has happened. We've not seen any births or anything. We had a bit of a hiccup at the start when the world kept crashing and giving me error messages. But it's been interesting, and it's probably something I'm going to maybe do again next week. I'm not going to be doing the Portal. The Portal. The Portal 2 Let's Play series. I'm probably going to be doing that next week because I've got a better idea now of what my university schedule is and stuff. So I'll probably record that next week and get that uploaded. Kind of breed are you using? I'll have a look in the hatchery. Someone's just asked what breed I'm using. I don't think it was actually a breed-related issue. I think it was because I'd opened up a world, and I'd opened up a world, injected all the life kit items into it, closed the world down, and then copied it and replaced it as the Eden.sfc, which every world in the game uses as sort of a template thing, and I think there's some kind of conflict there, to be honest. I've got, actually, just to plug myself for a minute, I've actually got my own genetic breed I made for creatures to install. They're called Albia ant Norns. I'm not going to hatch any at the moment, but maybe they might be a bit of an interesting thing to show off in the next episode, maybe. I've actually made, how long ago did I think I made those in 2013, so it was quite a while ago. So I've got Bahama Norns as well. These are all really interesting, but I'm not sure what the genetics are like, if they're actually compatible with these, which I'm using at the moment. So we've got quite a few. Got Flora Norns, Desert Norns, Golden Desert Norns, which are probably my favourite breed, next to the Emerald Norns, which are the green ones. And we've got Bat Norns as well by Norn Girl. They're really good as well. They use their own sprites that have been completely hand-drawn, and they're really, really, really good. But I think a lot of breeds in creatures too tend to use their own sprites, because I've noticed a lot in docking station creatures quite a few breeds use recoloured sprites of the official breeds. I mean, there's not really anything wrong with it, as long as the genetics are interesting. So I've just got a load of... I don't know what kind of genetics these use, so that's why I haven't used them. I know we've got Kimari Norns, they're nice. They're like Tiger Stripe Norns. They're a bit like the Bengal Norns out of Creatures Free. I don't know what breed this is. Wolfling. Well, we have got the Mernons, so maybe I'll use them in a future episode. And we got Nova Subterra as well, which are... They're a bit like the Caninons, which I'm using at the moment, the Caninon genome, but they're a bit different in some ways. But I know that it certainly can't breed with Caninons, due to the way the genetics are in the brain and how it's all wired together. They're incompatible. So these are just the Creatures 1 breeds that you get with Creatures 2. And you normally can't hatch them from the hatchery, but someone made a mod so you can. Kind of weird that they decide to include them, but there's actually an application you can use so you can convert Norns from the Norns that you raised in Creatures 1 to Creatures 2. So that's probably why they included them. It's a bit disappointing to me, in my opinion, the Nornverter or whatever it's called, because the Norns that you're doing convert into Creatures 2, they all use the same genome, and there's no any mutations or anything you got from Creatures 1 are thrown out the window, and you can't use them, and they're not present in Creatures 2, which is a shame. And to be fair, I'm not a big fan of the Creatures 1 sprites in Creatures 2 because they look a bit washed out for some reason, and not to mention they don't use any, from the side on, they don't actually show any emotion. They only show any emotion in the face if they actually look at you directly, which is a bit jarring. So yeah, we've just got these other ones, S&M Norns. I'm not going to go into them in case the video gets demonetized. Space Norns, these are all pretty interesting. Spike Norns, Stellar Norns, Tiger Grendels, they're really nice to look at. There's not a lot of Grendel breeds for Creatures 2, so they're a nice change. Volcanonons, they're alright I guess, but the sprites get a bit pixelated as they get older. So yeah, that's pretty much just all the breeds I've got. Oh no, we've got that issue now. Every so often, a speech will appear in the middle of the screen saying OBS 0 for some reason. I have no idea why it does it, but eventually it goes. It's just quite a common issue. I don't know why it happens. It's just it'll go eventually, but I don't know when. Oh, it's gone now. Oh no, it's back. So yeah, I'm probably going to be putting the episode to a closure now. I hope everyone's enjoyed it, and like I said, I'll try and get something uploaded, something streamed next week, along with the Portal 2 video I'm going to be doing. Make sure you subscribe as well. Because as I said, I've got quite a lot of content coming up, and make sure you give the video a like as well. And if you've got any suggestions, feedback, or any questions even, just pop it in the comment section, or in the live chat section at the moment. But as I'm going to be ending the stream soon, the live chat section is going to be closing, so when the video is actually done processing, that's where you'll better place your comments and stuff. But yeah, I'm probably going to get going in a minute because my throat is starting to hurt a bit. So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed this, and me and my Nons, who've now started to kiss, we'll see you all soon. So yeah, see ya.